Greetings and salutations. Thank you for lending an ear to The Voice of the Times this Monday, July 12, 2021. For today's editorial, politics may be distracting Pacquiao ahead of match. As a boxer, Senator Emmanuel Manny Pacquiao is a unifying figure among Filipinos who can be notoriously divided as a people. Reports say when he fights, the whole country stops to watch on television or listen on radio. Some anecdotes claim that his fights offer a respite from crime, and that even rebels momentarily lay down their arms to cheer for their champion, along with the rest of the nation. As a political figure, however, Mr. Pacquiao seems to be evolving as a divisive character. At the very least, that holds true for his political camp, the one that had been behind President Rodrigo Duterte since his bid for the highest office. Even though Mr. Pacquiao is among Mr. Duterte's top picks to be his successor, the two had a public falling out, triggered by the senator's allegations that corruption is rampant in the incumbent government. The president bristled at those charges and promised to campaign against Mr. Pacquiao if he does not follow through with evidence. The rift may be about election rivalry in 2022. Mr. Duterte's daughter, Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio, has been coy about her plans, but is believed to be running for president. Mr. Duterte, meanwhile, is barred from re-election, but he floated the idea of running for vice president instead. In fact, the party of Messrs. Duterte and Pacquiao, the Partido Demokratiko ng Pilipinas Lakas ng Bayan, has all but split into two factions. Meanwhile, Mr. Pacquiao is preparing for his welterweight match against Errol Spence Jr. on August 21, 2021. Of course, every Filipino wants Mr. Pacquiao to win. Even his political rivals are rooting for him. Like many others, we are concerned about the political distractions that might disturb Mr. Pacquiao's focus and mental preparation. Boxing analysts have noted that Mr. Spence is a dangerous opponent for the Filipino fighting senator. Not only is Mr. Spence the unified champion and undefeated in 27 fights with 21 knockouts, he is taller and younger than Mr. Pacquiao. Of course, the senator has fought bigger opponents before, including Oscar De La Hoya and Antonio Margarito, but Pacman knocked them around. In fairness to those boxing legends, we should add that they were past their prime when they faced our champion. In contrast, Mr. Spence is only 31 and has the advantage in height and reach over the 42-year-old Mr. Pacquiao. There were concerns about Mr. Spence's future after he figured in a horrible car accident in 2019. He was thrown out of his car as it flipped, but he survived. Even more remarkable, Mr. Spence recovered and successfully defended his International Boxing Federation welterweight belt in 2020. That win revived hopes that Mr. Spence might live up to his boxing potential. He was an Olympian in 2012 and, like Mr. Pacquiao, was labeled the best pound-for-pound fighter before his car crash. Mr. Spence may have a compelling comeback story, but like every other Filipino, we will stand by Mr. Pacquiao. As we look forward to the match, we hope that he is able to tune out the din from his ongoing battles at home. If he loses against Mr. Spence, people will likely blame politics at the home front. Even then, Mr. Pacquiao has nothing else to prove as a boxer. To retire from boxing, as we have said many times in this space, he should retire from professional boxing and enjoy his fame and success. In fact, he could have done so years ago and not diminished his stature as a future Hall of Famer and sports icon. Sadly, his image has come under attack because of his foray into politics. Questions about the legitimacy of his educational degrees have surfaced, for instance, and because of his fame, people in the past came to his defense amid reports of his womanizing, gambling, and even allegedly evading taxes in the Philippines. That was then. Now, Mr. Pacquiao probably senses that politics is a different type of combat. As a presidential contender in the next elections, he steps into a nasty spotlight that now threatens to interfere with his game. And that's the editorial for Monday, July 12, 2021. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to our digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and listen to The Voice of the Times.